Hey, tourpreneurs, it's Mitch Bach, and just a quick note before we begin today's episode. Tourpreneur is currently sponsored by Google. We're thankful for their support of our community, and we are offering with them a completely free course helping you unlock the power and potential of Google's Things to Do program, which is specifically helping tour operators add their tours to Google in new ways that gives you new exposure and more direct bookings. To learn more, go to tourpreneur.com/Google. And as always, show notes, more resources, links to our newsletter, our business coaching community, and so much more are available on tourpreneur.com. Now to the episode.
Welcome to the Tourpreneur Podcast. Travel industry veteran Shane Whaley will take you on a journey with fellow tourpreneurs, sharing their tips, ideas, insights, and success stories to inspire you to make your tour business the best it can be. And now, here is your host, Shane Whaley.
Hello and welcome to episode 168 of Tourpreneur. This is the podcast where we flatten the learning curve for activity and tour operators around the world. This is a super short episode I've got for you today. I wanted to share with you a big, hairy, audacious goal, an experiment that I'm going to be trying shortly at Arrival in San Diego. Now, over the last couple of months, I've received many questions from you, our dear listener, asking for help with Reels, whether it be on Instagram or TikTok. You're asking, is it worth your time doing it? What kind of traction can we get? And honestly, I know so very little about Instagram. I think I'm okay with Facebook. I mean, we've grown a community of almost 3,500 operators on there and grown podcast interaction and engagement from there. But Instagram, I'll snap a picture of the dog and put it up, and that's pretty much been it. But I was kind of shocked the other day when I looked at my Instagram and saw I had over 1,000 followers on there. I thought, I probably should be using this. And I am speaking to more and more operators that really should be doing more with Instagram because it's such a visual medium. And as you know, with experiences, there's so much that we can show so we can get people dreaming about coming on and enjoying our experiences. Like a good friend of mine, you'll hear his episode in a couple of weeks. He bought an iconic London cab. He also bought an Indian ambassador taxi. And he drives them around Sydney and offers experiences, and they're just so photogenic. I mean, he gets people flagging him down, wanting photographs with him in his cars, and some of them even offer to buy his vehicles as well, which is quite a hoot. You'll enjoy that interview with Jamie. But I bring it up because I look at his Instagram and think, wow, there's a lot more we can be doing here on Reels. And there's so much conflicting information out there. I figured, you know what? Let me book a call in with Marika at Von Mack Agency. They put out a pack for tour operators for using Reels. I'll put that link in the show notes. So I had a 30-minute session with them because I really didn't know anything about Reels. I don't even really consume them, if I'm honest, because I'm not on Instagram that often. That will change this year. So here's my goal. So let me back up a little bit. You know, we've all read about Gladwell's 10,000-hour rule. And the Beatles in Hamburg playing like 10-hour shifts for months on end, and that's how they honed their craft. For me at Tourpreneur, I really feel that things clicked when I was at Arrival Orlando in 2019. I had a booth there, very kindly sponsored by our friends at Checkfront, and I think I had something like 25 interviews. I mean, it was insane. It was insane, but you know what? It was one of the best things I ever did in terms of learning my craft, being thrown in the deep end, and it was 25 interviews, and it's like the Beatles, you know, they were rocking out all those hours every night, 7 nights a week in Hamburg, learning their trade, learning from the mistakes, and for me, that was a real baptism of fire. And also, that was face-to-face, that was in person, so that added more pressure, especially with, you know, thousands of people listen to this show. We're over 200,000 downloads, but I don't see you. I'm looking at a screen right now. So when you're interviewing someone and you've got a crowd of people watching, it was pretty intense, but I'm very, very grateful for that opportunity. And I thought, how can I replicate that with Instagram Reels? And what I've decided to do is next week at Arrival, every session, I'm planning on going to a lot more sessions and workshops than I ordinarily would. And that's because I want to refresh my knowledge. I want to recharge. I want to know what the changes have been over the last 2 years, trends. And what I'm going to do, this sounds crazy, but after every workshop, I'm going to run outside, going to be really self-conscious because people are going to be looking at me, and I'm going to record a reel, right? I'm aiming for 30 seconds. I think you can go 60. I'll do my best to get in 30. And I'm going to share my number one takeaway with you on Reels. And yeah, we'll do podcasts afterwards about things I've learned. Don't get me wrong. But I just thought, you know what? Let's get out there. Let's video my number one takeaways after the event because it will help me be better with Reels. It will help me understand Reels. And also then it will help me share that knowledge with you through the podcast and through our other mediums. But also you get to learn with me, which is the fun thing, because I know many of us are unable to go to San Diego to Arrival this year in February, next week. Gosh, this month's flown by. And let me share some learning with you. They'll be quick. They'll be really quick fire. Here's my main learning from this session with Chris Torres talking about video, or here is a quick takeaway from the SEO session or the Google Things to Do session. So that's my goal. That's my goal. Big, hairy, audacious goal. So what I would love for you to do is, first of all, if you could follow me on Instagram, if you're not already. And my Instagram is very easy. It's Tourpreneur Podcast. That's Instagram.com/Tourpreneur Podcast, or just search Tourpreneur Podcast. Some rotter has got Tourpreneur. He was there way before me and he's not using it, which is frustrating. But hey, what can you do? Please follow me. First of all, you'll get my tips that I'll share with you as much as I can next week of all the sessions I'm going to. And also give me some feedback. You know, what do you think I can be doing better with Reels? What am I not doing so well? And, you know, this is not like if you came to me with advice about podcasting, I'll listen to you because I always love constructive advice and criticism, but I might feel a little bit offended thinking, hang on, you know, we're over 200 interviews on the show. But Reels, I'm jumping in with zero knowledge. I hate video. I hate being on video. I get very self-conscious. But, you know, what the hell? Let's jump in next week. And again, as I say, I'm sharing it with you, sharing my learnings, but also I really welcome your feedback. And maybe you'll be inspired to start with Reels. It's something that I'm definitely going to be digging into a lot more this year because I put out 2 Reels this week, just testing with my phone. One was I had 2 interviews and I was previewing those interviews and getting excited about it. I put that out. Another one was a behind the scenes look at my setup here at Tourpreneur. And Marika wrote to me and said, wow, you know, your first video got over 3,000 views. Now, I didn't know if that was good or bad because I'm just so new to Instagram. She tells me that's quite a big deal. Great. Fantastic. But I go back and say, okay, well, what was it about that reel? Was it because it was the first reel I had done, so Instagram gave me more engagement or showed me to more people? Or was there something in that video that resonated? You know, should I be doing more of those before I go to interview? Or even when I put an episode out, do I do a quick reel explaining what's coming up and one reason why you should listen to that show? So there's lots of learning, but I really want to condense it. I want to distill it, and I want to share it with everyone that listens to the show and is on our Facebook group. I hope you're all keeping well. I am super excited to get on a plane. You know, it is 10 degrees Fahrenheit. I don't know, something silly like minus 20 centigrade. Hot weather here in Vermont. It has been so cold. Even the dogs don't want to go out. And I'm flying to San Diego. And someone said, oh, you're coming here at the coldest time of the year. It's in the 70s. I'm like, sounds like bliss. I'm looking forward to seeing all of you who are attending Arrival next week. Do come and say hello. I love meeting you all. If you're not going this year, I totally get it. I hope I'll see you on the circuit. My plan is to get out a lot more this year and come visit as many of you as I can and enjoy your experiences. You know, when I set Tourpreneur up, my goal was always like 1 week a month to get out on the road. And I think some of my best interviews, I go back to Tony Muir. His interview was let me see. See, this is going to be, I should know these off the top of my head, right, really. Episode 19, if you go to tourpreneur.com/19, a lot of people say to me that was one of their favorite interviews. And I think a lot of that was down to Tony being Brooklyn Italian and bringing that to the show. But also I had just got off the bus of his Slice of Brooklyn bus tours. So it was all, the experience was fresh in my mind. I love that. That's where I get my energy. So I'm excited to do that again. Hopefully 2022, get out and see you all, enjoy your experiences, and deliver you epic content here on Tourpreneur. Also, many of you said, Shane, can you bring back the How I Built This style interviews? Well, I've just recorded 3 crackers this week. Definitely back in the saddle there. So rest assured, you'll be getting a ton more of the How I Built This episodes coming up this year, as well as some really exciting roundtables as well. So anyway, I just really wanted to share with you my adventure with Reels. As I say, I'm really self-conscious about it. Audio is great. You can edit it. You can tweak it. Video, you put everything out there, right? And some of you guys love it. Some of you love doing it. I get very nervous. So let's share the learning. If you can follow me, Tourpreneur Podcast on Instagram, that will be fantastic. Wishing you all the very best. Stay well, stay safe. Until next time, take care.
Thanks for listening to the Tourpreneur Podcast. Be sure to visit tourpreneur.com to join the conversation and access the show notes, including links to the resources mentioned on today's episode. This is Tourpreneur.